Now, as we mentioned before, Amazon Translate is also a very useful tool for translators. And next, I'd like to invite to the stage Eduardo D'Antonio, who is a director of globalization at VMware, and Ken Watson, the CTO of Lionbridge, to talk about how Lionbridge leveraged Amazon Translate to serve VMware more efficiently.
Great, thanks. Great presentation, by the way. Very interesting. For technology companies like VMware, we really need something like that. So here's a little bit about some of the VMware needs on localization and translation. If we get a sum of 20 million words, web content, field enablement, education, a combination of highly technical materials that goes to professional server systems engineers, that has cutting-edge, disruptive technology that sometimes is not even available in the market yet. So there's not a large population of not even human translators who understand it. It becomes highly complex to find the domain expertise, like you mentioned, that would be able to translate that, even though understand the technology itself. And then we also have a large combination of language. So that creates a very challenging human resource for us to deal with. Scheduling, resource planning. At one given point, for example, we would need 300 or 400 linguists working for us full-time. And so what we normally do is we don't go and hire those translators directly. We engage with a strategic partner like Lionbridge, and we outsource the translation part to Lionbridge, and they manage that. And we've been doing this manually. We spend millions and millions of dollars every year with translation, so it's not our core business. If we would spend that money in R&D, for example, in development or improving products, would be a much better use of the dollars. But we need to, because over 60% revenue comes from overseas, so we do need content in different language to be able to sell and support our customers. And expanding on some of the points that I read, the quality needs to be very high. So it's a content that will go on the website, content that will go to customers, a lot of technical material on how to install the product, how to support the product, how to maintain the product. So the quality needs to be high. We need to scale the resource up and down very fast, so it's challenging because a product launch varies from time to time, so you don't need those resources constantly. We need to maintain consistency. It's very difficult when you have hundreds and hundreds of translators at the same time touching translation content, how we maintain terminology and the content being consistent also from one version to another. And then the cost. The cost keeps going up and up and up. And so one of the solutions that we found, and I'll turn it over to our strategic partner, Lionbridge, to continue with the presentation, I'll be back at the end, is the neural machine translation technology from Amazon.
Awesome. Thanks, Eduardo. Hi, I'm Ken Watson. I'm the Chief Technology Officer at Lionbridge. So we're the leader in this multi-billion-dollar translation and localization business. We create and translate and manage, as we heard from Eduardo, the global digital content and communication for many customers across the world. We have actually an enviable Rolodex of clients and many premium brands like VMware who really rely on us and have worked with us for many years. And they work with us through this crowd in the cloud scenario. So we have 100,000 plus professional translators in our community, and we bring them together and apply them to the needs of our customers. At Lionbridge, we're known for the scale and quality of the way that we deploy our translators. And I'm excited to share with you how we partner with Amazon and worked with our client, VMware, to deliver these translations. All right, so if you think about it, there are really several steps involved in delivering high-quality human translation. As we saw from Yoni's slide earlier on, there are many cases where machine translation is the perfect fit for purpose. However, if we want to target and ensure human translation quality, we're going to need a different step, and that would take the machine translation first, and we complement it with a human step we call post-editing. So this approach, machine translation plus post-editing, really kind of supercharges the translator, allows them to be much more efficient and much more effective in doing their job. So instead of having to start the translation from scratch, they will post-edit the MT output that comes from the MT engine and adapt it to make sure we've got the right tone and the right style for the target audience. So this is key. A good MT engine will take care of all the terminology and all the basic translation and getting the words across. And then what we need is but that part of it is actually fairly labor and thought intensive. And that's the bit the machine's really good at. Then what that allows us to do is reduce the scope of what the human translator's doing and have them focus just on the bits which convey the right tone and the right emotion into the message. So at Lionbridge, we really believe that all content should be made available in the target language for the target audience. And so in this kind of in this MT-enabled world where it's readily available, we really get to triage the content and make sure we're picking the right ones for MT and the right ones for post-editing. It's really quite exciting. If you can imagine a world where we can basically transform and translate everything that comes in the way of content, and really just based on the importance or the risk or the value of the content, pick the ones that will have a little bit of human interaction through this post-editing process. So our goal in this pilot with VMware was to put Amazon Translate through a real-life production process for translating high-quality marketing-related content. For the pilot, VMware selected 2 white papers, and we translated them into German and simplified Chinese. And the volumes that we had were good enough for us to really get a good assessment for the productivity gains that we could expect. I mean, what we were shooting for in the end result was that we should have no noticeable difference with regular translations, and we should meet the same high quality bar that VMware expects from us when we do regular translation. So of course we used the output we got from Amazon's neural machine translation engine to give our translators the head start. And at the end of the process, VMware measured the quality, and we measured the productivity through a process as compared to regular human translation. So for that measurement, we used a concept called edit distance. So edit distance really measures the amount of extra effort the post-editor needs to put into the machine translated words. All right, now, in terms of the results, I'll hand back to Eduardo to tell us how we did.
All right, thanks, Ken. Yes, continuing on what Ken was saying, we are tasked to run a pilot that would reproduce a real live translation project for us. And this is what we found out. First, we're very impressed with the results. We have a very rigorous quality control team in all the regions, and those are employees, and those are people from VMware, and some of them dedicated to just review translated content and make sure that it meets the translation quality. There's a lot of tools and systems and process to review the quality, and it's a pass and fail, usually for VMware to go to market is 99.3% in terms of errors. If you find more than 1 or 2 errors per 1,000 words, it's rejected and goes back for another human translator to edit and improve. So having a result like that from a machine translation using Nero is very impressive for a company like VMware to see how scalable we can be. For example, a product, we can spend $200,000 to $250,000 on a single project at VMware in the last 3-4 months using human translation. So the time to market and the savings could be really impactful for us. And so it was very fluent, the translation, similar to what a human translator would be. If you just read it quick, you wouldn't find out that it was translated by a machine translation, which the statistical problem is. We quite easily identify this is done by a machine, not a human. In this case, it's matched the human translatable material pretty high. Almost no linguistic grammatical errors. That was another problem that it solves from the statistical. It was full of grammatical errors. Low rate of high severity errors. Sometimes better than human and better than other systems in the market, NMT, and 30% more efficient than human translations alone. Because with humans, if you think of it, it's translated, edit, proof. So there's 3 people touching it, and then a final review. So there's 4 humans touching it. And that shows that graphic over there shows the human translation and the MT plus post-editing. It reached a level that is very close, even for a the other thing that is impressive about it is it's the early days of the neural machine technology in general, and it's already providing that level of output. So it will pretty much see in the near future that it will translate just like the same way as a human. And so it will be a big productivity enhancement for us working with Lionbridge to use Amazon Translate, because then I hand off the content to Lionbridge. They use Amazon Translate, and the time to market for us is going to be much faster, and the cost is going to be much lower, and we're going to scale. So that all three things combined become very powerful and very impactful for technology companies. And it's not just technology companies, there are a lot of other companies that requires a lot of translation and translation quality and large volume. So that is why this is compelling and very interesting for us in the globalization industry.